Well, greetings, YouTube. LMS Tactical here. I'm out here sitting on my deck, so sorry about the background noise. It's raining and the car's driving by, whatever. Wanted to get in early on this recent shooting in Minneapolis. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I know enough to know what to expect and some of what's going on. Basically, Minneapolis, in case you're not aware of it, is also, that's like just a few miles away from where the ongoing trial for the George Floyd killing is taking place. And we all remember the riots that took place, and we all know there's going to be riots after the verdicts are read in a week or so, or less, who knows. So you got the National Guard on standby, and, same old, same old. As luck would have it, here we have another, it looks like, I don't know the ethnicity of the guy. I mean, his name is Daunte Wright, the guy that was killed, young guy. He looked almost mixed. Forgive me if I'm wrong. He's either Hispanic or an African-American mix. I don't know. He just didn't look like he was white. Here's what we know. Now, if you turn on the left, the leftist propaganda machine, any of the news channels here, what they're spinning is that Daunte was being pulled over because he had an air freshener hanging from his rear view mirror and then was killed. He's unarmed and he was shot and killed by a white police officer. That's not exactly how it went down based on just the body camera video that I saw. And by the way, they're already rioting there and all the standard usual bullshit, we're going to burn it down and blah, blah, blah. So, am I happy that a young guy died? Absolutely not. But how many times have I been saying this? And it's not just me. It's not like you don't have to be a genius to know this shit. When you get stopped by the police, now let's just look at this guy. They initiated a traffic stop. He decided to fight his way back into his car and take off. At some point he was shot, and now he's no longer with us. Here's the bottom line, no matter what your feelings are. Just like George Floyd and just like 99.9% of all other people of all colors who end up getting killed by the police, had they just followed the fucking rules, followed the commands of the officer, whether they liked it or not, we wouldn't be in this situation. Daunte would still be alive. Now, I just heard that he had called his mom while he was still in the car and saying, hey, they're trying to stop me because I got an air freshener. And she's like, well, what are they trying to stop you for? She should have said, hey, pull your dumb ass over and fucking keep your hands in view and do what you're told. That's what I would have said. What the fuck you calling me for? If the cops are behind you with their lights on, pull your dumb ass over. Now, I've said this before, and it just, I don't know why this is so hard for people to understand, but regardless of why you're detained, stopped, or whatever, the minute you decide to start holding a trial at the scene of the detention or the scene of the arrest or the scene of the traffic stop, whatever, and the minute you start to refuse to obey commands and escalate it up into a pushing and shoving and ultimately a fight, and you decide to flee the scene, everything that happens from the minute you start resisting, the responsibility is on you, whether or not this communist society wants to admit that or not. We live in a nation of laws, and, if you don't like the laws that we have, there are legal ways and processes to lobby to get those laws changed or take them off the books. I mean, marijuana just became legal the other day in Virginia, and back when I was a cop, that was like a major felony. So laws can be changed, but it's a slow process, and you got to be involved. You can't just sit around bitching about shit. So, we live in a society, any civilized society has to have rule of law. And when you have laws, then you must have people to enforce these laws. And when the people try to enforce the laws, those of us that come into contact with them are obligated to act responsibly and to recognize their authority, whether we like them or not, whether we like authority or not, whether or not our parents spoiled us and we think we're entitled to fucking being treated like kings and queens. and we don't want to be told what to do. The rest of us in society, we have a right that when we see a green light, we're going to drive through it without getting freaking killed by somebody who doesn't have respect for the law and is in a hurry and doesn't give a flying fuck about red lights. That's why cops write tickets to people that run red lights, because it can't be a free-for-all. You either have rule of law or you have absolute chaos. And if you want chaos, go live in a fucking jungle or go find an island or something. But you're fucking it up for the rest of society that we would like to have peace and quiet and safety. You cannot have a lawless society and have a successful society. Now, back to this shooting of, what's his name, Mr. Wright, a young guy, Mr. Wright, this last shooting. Here's the kicker on it. If you look at the video camera, the officer's camera, you hear the female yelling, "Tase him," and then she says, "Taser, taser, taser," which is you give the warning out that somebody's getting ready to be tased. And she pulls her firearm out and she shoots the guy. He drives, a block or two away and he dies. And she says, something like, "Oh my God, I just shot him." Okay, she clearly reached for her firearm instead of her taser. How did that happen? I don't know. When I was a cop, when I was working LAPD, tasers were brand new and they were a separate entity. They looked like these old gray, funky looking flashlights. You had two shots and they were very primitive. You could never mistake them for a handgun. We didn't even have holsters for them. We'd stick them in our flashlight pocket and they'd fall out and everything else. So now I have never used these new ones, but I see them and they're shaped like firearms, and I think they're yellow and, so you could differentiate between the two by looking at them because of the colors. But, in an altercation or in a situation where people are fighting and guys are running away and, cops aren't perfect. When the brain is tunnel visioned in and you do shit by muscle memory and you don't have a lot of experience at it, humans are fallible. They make mistakes. And in this case, it looks like she went to reach for her firearm and grabbed the wrong thing. I don't know how that happens. I mean, I'm not sure. Do they have one on one side and one on the other? I mean, there needs to be something that needs to be looked at in terms of making it so you can't make a mistake like that. But in the meantime, no matter what you're going to hear on the news, no matter what you hear in the media, based on just that video alone, and come on, half of the country thinks George Floyd was murdered because of what they saw in the video. Well, I'm telling you that what I saw in this video, there is no fucking way in the world it was murder. There's no way that it was manslaughter. This is like any other workplace where you make a mistake and you cost somebody their life because of your negligence. Was it negligent? Yes, it was. Now, I am steadfast on the fact that had Wright followed the fucking expected rules and followed the commands like a decent human being, he wouldn't be dead today. He'd still be alive. Okay? And all this bullshit about, they stopped, that he got killed because of an air freshener. I've said many times, if the police try to pull you over because of tinted windows and you end up getting shot and killed, it's not because you had tinted windows. It's probably because you fought with the cops, jumped in the car, ran, fucking reached for a gun. Who knows? Once you change the scenario, nobody gives a fuck about what the original stop was for. In the cop's mind, it's about staying alive and preventing you from hurting somebody else or escaping. Okay? So, you can allow yourself to be bullshitted, but that's all you're doing is allowing yourself to be bullshitted. So, did he deserve to die? Absolutely not. But it's a thing that we call consequences. He suffered some grave consequences for his actions. The cop's gonna suffer consequences for her actions. She's not a murderer. She didn't go after this guy to kill him, but she did make a mistake, and the mistake was deadly. That is what we call a civil matter, and in a civilized society, she should suffer the investigation and whatever discipline her agency mets out to her. And then the family of the deceased would take it to civil court as a wrongful death, and I personally, they're probably entitled to, whatever they get. It's a civil matter, though. And I already see rioting in the streets and killer cops this and killer cops that. And, the liberal mainstream commies are going to try and paint this as another case of white cops out hunting minorities. It's absolute horse shit. And if you buy into it, you're fucking dumber than a box of dumb rocks. All right. People get killed in warehouses because forklift operators that have had lots of experience fuck up and hit the wrong lever and drop the fucking load on people's heads. People get sued, and it's always sad that somebody dies. All right. Doctors fuck up and kill people accidentally. It's malpractice. It's a lawsuit. We don't send people to prison for that. And the doctor didn't wake up and say, I'm going to fuck somebody's life up. Sometimes they go in to amputate a leg and they amputate the wrong fucking one. Human beings do shit like this. So, don't buy into the hype and don't sit quiet while those in your family and around you try to buy. Look, see, we got to fucking do something. The cops are murdering people. They're killing people. Oh my God. Cops have always been killing people. It's just this political bullshit circus that we've been in since the Obama was elected, where the media has turned against the police. Everybody's turned against the police, and they're trying to make you think, it's almost akin to the stupid virus, a fucking 98 or 99% survival rate, and they have everybody walking around in spacesuits thinking they're going to fucking drop dead. It's bullshit. Okay, they spin this hype up, and it's just like they use this fucking police thing. They use police shootings or police killings that happen on such a small scale comparatively to the number of police that are stopping people 24 hours a day, 365 days a year all over America. And they try to make people believe, and it's pretty easy because people are so fucking gullible, that the cops are out there just hunting down and murdering innocent minorities. If that was the case, you'd be tripping over dead bodies every time you took a step. Anyways, what do you guys think? I hope you're doing well. Let's see what happens. LMS Tactical out.